Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, we're talking Lady C's book. That's right, we are on chapter 11, and let me just tell you, I'm only a couple pages in, and I had to jump on mic because it's that juicy. This one is good, and I can't wait to discuss it with you. And I have found some really funny photos that I'm excited to share with you, including Prince Spoiled Brat here. So take a look at the screen, and let's get into this. Guys, the reaction to my last episode where I basically lost my mind on the mic for 20 minutes telling you how I really feel about Harold and Fraud over there. And I've had the best responses, so thank you so much, everybody who took the time to write me about that. But, ooh, let's get into the good stuff here. So here we are on chapter 11, and I am so excited to be here. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so chapter 11, again, only a few pages in, but so juicy, wanted to jump on. Lady C is going into the split perceptions regarding Meghan and Harry. Now, what's funny is I feel like it's actually way less so split now, but I get what she's saying. This was written in 2020 or published in 2020. So it probably was more divided back then, but I feel like it's pretty... We've seen the popularity polls or lack thereof, right? Anyway, Lady C goes into why it's interesting that people are split on them. She says Harry is more easily explained. The couple's admirers think that he's found himself an ideal mate and that they're very well suited. I can't get through that without laughing. They are well suited because they're both awful. And they balance each other out perfectly. This view is even shared by astrologers. She goes into why some astrologers seem to think that they belong together. I don't doubt that they belong together. They're both completely full of themselves and probably have similar goals to tear down their family. So yeah, sure, match made in hell. She goes into Harry's detractors. And they call him, quote, and again, I'm on chapter 11, page 349, if you want to follow along, because this one's amazing. Here we go. I'm going to read this to you. Harry is Meghan's useful idiot. He's a pussy-whipped dolt who deserves the name Blowjobs Harry. I've explained that in previous chapter. That was the name that the courtiers gave him because he's so painfully stupid. As he's fallen under the spell of a brighter but ultimately ruthless spouse who's using him and will discard him when she's through milking the situation for all she can get out of it. Oh my God, it's so funny. So, let me go into what she's saying about Meghan. It's so good, you guys. I can't even improve it. So I'm just going to read this to you and we'll discuss. You ready? So again, she's taking the stance of there are some people that like Meghan, but let me tell you what the detractors are claiming. Again, this was so astute of her because this is before, you know, the books have come out and we've had so much access to their own words and their own stupid behaviors and seen what they're really like, right? She knew. So yay, Lady C. Okay, here we go. Again, page 349 if you want to read along. It's juicy. Her detractors claim that no one who is sincere makes such a show of being extravagantly loving as she does. Some of them even disparage her acting ability, stating that she consistently behaves in such an extreme, over-the-top, hyper-emotionalistic, actressy way, even as she's covering Harry with love, that she comes across more as a parasite clinging to a tree than someone who is sincere emotionally. Damn, I love Lady C. So well put. They say that she substitutes effusiveness for profundity and that her main talent is not even her acting ability, but her energetic ruthlessness. They believe that she uses people to achieve her goals and that her interest in others only lasts as long as their presence provides her with the opportunities and rewards she requires from them. Now, Lady C does go on to say that she is bright, opinionated, and passionate, but then she says, well, some people can can hear the clanking sound of an empty vessel. Hello, South Park, they said the same thing, making a lot of noise. She's very exacting and demanding. She is so upfront about what she wants that her admirers regard this as commendable, though her critics view it as a deplorable vice, suggestive of insensitivity and bumptiousness. I like that word. So then she goes on to explain that in private, Meghan's awful. She complains bitterly about her critics. As Harry's confirmed in his postings, they both find, talking about the critics, extremely painful for her to be doubted. I find that so funny because, again, how far have we come since this book came out? So she's probably really struggling now. Somebody point her toward this video, will you? So let's see. Lady C says, quote, I am told that they really struggle to understand how so many people could fail to recognize how self-evidently well-meaning and wonderful Meghan is. It's because we saw right through you. This created a feeling of, quote, being unfairly martyred. She did it to herself. They're always playing the victim. And they blamed not only the, quote, nasty people who thought like that, but anyone who provided them with a platform. Talking about the nasty people. Thank you. This fed their hatred of the press, which one royal told me, quote, borders on paranoia. Oh, it gets better. Okay. So then Lady C explains that she went to talk to her psychologist friend all about Maggie Poo. Well, psychologist to whom she spoke, okay, again, page 351, I encourage you to read this part, says, quote, while her admirers consider her an extremely sensitive person whose every thought and feeling governed by a sweet nature and a good heart, he concluded that the descriptions of her correlate with sociopathic as well as narcissistic tendencies. Bam! Nailed it. Sorry if I scared you. Look at this picture. Tell me that's not a narcissist right there with sociopathic tendencies, allegedly. What makes this greater? Do you know what tipped the scales for that guy that Lady C spoke to, the therapist? What tipped the scales for him is being the decisive factor for her propensity for wanting sympathy. The same thing that pissed all of us off. It's that stupid ITV interview she did in South Africa. Oh, I'm going to go into that. I told you before, that's what did it for me. The idea that she's standing in South Africa whining about her troubles is just the most tone-deaf, disgusting, narcissistic, full of herself thing that, well, full of both of themselves. I'm not letting Harry off the hook either. That's when I decided that they sucked, and they and they haven't let me down since. So Lady C says, according to that therapist, his opinion, Meghan's interview with Tom Bradby was a dead giveaway not only of her hunger for sympathy, but of another sociopathic trait, namely lack of insight into how inappropriate her requirement of having her needs fulfilled, even in disproportionate circumstances, can be. Now, she goes on to explain that, oh God, I love this so much. Okay. She says that ITV was responsible, possibly. She's trying to maybe cover her bases here, but maybe it wasn't Meghan's fault. Allegedly, who knows? But she came across as, quote, self-obsessed, self-pitying. She seemed as she complained about her great pain in not receiving the emotional support and attention she required while adjusting to her new life of even greater privilege and opportunity than her old life, which had not been exactly underprivileged either. But her complaints seemed weirdly disproportionate to the psychologist as she stood in South Africa, exactly what I said, with her complaints going from one privileged life to a more privileged life, while around her, the South African women with genuinely significant daily struggles for life, liberty, health, food, and safety. These women and these issues were meant to be the true focus of the program. Yet so complete was Meghan's self-belief, so pronounced was her need to obtain support of viewers by gaining their sympathy for the hardships she was enduring in her difficult life, that she did not stop to question whether a royal duchess, happily married to a man who adores her, who is beautiful, healthy, has a beautiful, healthy son, and a life of extreme privilege should be maintaining in the face of such genuine deprivation. that her own suffering was so great that it could even warrant a mention alongside poverty, assaults, mutilation, bad stuff I can't say on YouTube, starvation, and many other issues that have been addressed by the program as the South African women's lives unfurled in their full horror. So perfectly said. She articulated exactly what bothers me about these two. You think I went on a rant last time? Well, buckle up. That's exactly my problem. Exactly. That is exactly why, I keep saying exactly, I gotta find another word. That is precisely why I turned on them exactly here. Again, exactly, sorry. I'm just so frustrated, my words stumble together. Okay, that is precisely why I turned on them when they're in South Africa, because of this crap right here. Because she was standing in South Africa where the problems are real. Everything I just named and then some. And she had the nerve to complain about how hard it was for her. I mean, I'm speechless. I'm never speechless, but I'm speechless. Just blown away by, again, the level of narcissism. I've just never seen anything like that. I thought Amber Heard was bad. I mean, this is just a different, I don't know, planet. It just blows my mind. And the fact that Dumb Harry stood right alongside her and was agreeing right along with everything and playing along too, he's just as bad as she is, if not worse. I mean, they're so awful, just truly not paying any attention to the real suffering around them. They'd rather bring attention to themselves. It was on to say that only an unconscionable egotist could state on television in the middle of South African wilderness, surrounded by some of the poorest people whose everyday life is an uncertain struggle for survival, that the purpose of life is not survival, but thriving. Remember, she said that stupid-ass quote on this interview. That's what Lady C is talking about. I got to give Lady C a huge round of applause because she more beautifully articulated it than I ever could. Exactly why I cannot with these two. I cannot. That's why I have no sympathy for them. That's why I think they're awful. This combined with the way they treated the Queen, nope. Nope. I will never understand them. I don't want to understand them. And I will never understand people who support them. I just won't. So I'm going to end it here because my blood pressure is now through the roof. I cannot wait to keep going with this chapter, though, because we have tons to discuss, and it's good. Guys, again, sorry this is a little shorter, but I'm just blown away. Just absolutely blown away by this. Just unbelievable. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you all. Your response has been just completely overwhelming in a good way, and you're just too kind. Thank you for all the love and support and all the very kind messages you have left. I appreciate that so much, and I can't wait to read the comments on this one. Supporting me, if you want to further support the show, definitely check out Patreon. We just did Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop and her court case. We've been talking about that over there. What else? I got one coming out on Hilaria Baldwin, so check that out. And lots on Hank and Skank, Harold and Fraud, Harry and Meghan. So check that out. That's patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. We put out stuff every couple of days over there, so definitely check that out. I do want to give a huge thank you and shout out to my executive producers, which you can also become at patreon.com. So a huge thank you to Linda. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Paige and Teresa. Thank you, Mary and Amy. Thank you, Mr. K. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Shauna, Brenda. Thank you, Aaron and Frank. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Ann M. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Ann H. Thank you, Karen and Corey. Thank you, Kay King. Thank you, Glennis. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Dewey. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Adair Becker. Thank you, Erica. Thank you to Amber. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Barb G. Thank you, Diana LOL. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you to Allison B. Thank you, Jean. Lori. Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, KT. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Stromboli. Thank you, Catherine and Carla. Thank you to Loie. Thank you, Lucy H. Thank you, Georgia. And thank you, Susie. I'm so glad you're all here and supporting the show. I really appreciate it, and I couldn't do it without you. And again, check out Patreon if you want to become an executive producer, and I'll give you thank you as well.